What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this I want to break down what's going on with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to give you guys a very quick intraday update video about what's going on so far and some very important levels to be watching for as time progresses. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. This offer ends very, very soon, in just about 9 days from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. So, looking at the market, we're seeing some very interesting price action right now. SPY on the 5-minute time frame is about to be testing its 200 EMA, and it's starting to decline a bit more. We're going to be watching to see if this holds around this 434.73 area. If this breaks, I expect SPY to sink even more, and we're going to likely see this thing get very close to this gap support in this 433 area. So I think like 433.5 is the next level. I'd be expecting that if we get a clean break below this support. So it's going to be very important. On the 30 minutes time frame, there's another decline that's showing a bearish direction right now. On the 4-hour time frame, we're seeing the same thing. The 4-hour is very important because when you look at SPY, you will notice that the 4-hour shows you this very, very nice structure that shows direction. So you'll see that it was bullish during many periods, turned very bearish for many periods as well, and then it turned very bullish since last Monday, so last week, and now it's starting to lose a lot of that bullish momentum. It's actually starting to decline. We're curling. We're testing the 5 EMA. And if we end up losing that, I do anticipate more downside. We could get very close to this 200 EMA if we end up losing that 433 support. So we're going to be watching that very carefully. But I just want to let you guys know that we're still overbought on the 4-hour. And we're starting to look more bearish at the time I'm recording this. Now, on the daily time frame on SPY, just to call out, we had a potential reversal signal off this 436 area. And now we're starting to look weaker. And there is going to be a risk of more downside, and this is going to have a big effect on the whole market. So what are some levels to watch for? For resistance, watch this 435.5 area. Above that, we have 436, which is some tight resistance, followed by 437, which is minor, and then 438 is very strong resistance. So far, we're looking weak, and we're continuing to decline. For support right now, we're barely testing our 5 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. It's around this like 434.7 area. If we lose that, I anticipate this thing is going to come all the way down to the much lower 434s, if not by 433.5 down here. And if we lose that, expect 433 to 432.5 coming next. The reason I'm calling out this range is because of historical support and also the gap support. If we end up sinking below 432.5, I anticipate a bigger drop is coming. We're going to see this gap get filled towards 430. All right, so there is a risk of downside. The market is trying to curl, and the market is finally due for this because of how overbought we were last week and how much we pumped with basically no downside. So nothing about this is like extremely bearish to be calling a crash or anything like that. This is just a very healthy pullback that was expected and necessary, and something I've been talking about since yesterday and the days before that. For the QQQ, something very similar is developing. This is starting to sink a bit. We're going to be watching this 368 support. If we lose this, we have a risk of coming down towards this support right here at 367. Then we have 366.25. Followed by 365. We're looking a bit more bearish on the triple Q because during the pre-market session, just like SPY, we have this bearish divergence that was established. Let me show you the pre-market. This was established right here, this bearish divergence, and it's telling us that this thing is going to decline. We have a 50 EMA test potentially coming at the 30 minutes time frame at 366.7. This is looking a bit more bearish, and I think that this could start sinking. Nvda did just what we were expecting. I was talking about this thing testing like 458 to 460 possibly, and then declining, or it could just decline from where we were. That's what I said specifically. And it's looking like we got that little pop and then a drop on Nvda as we expected, and we're going to be watching some key support. So looking at Nvidia's chart, you will notice that this thing is curling as well, just like SPY on the larger time frames. We're going to be watching that 451 to 450 support. We also have this unfilled gap right now at 450, so I'm anticipating that this is going to get filled very soon. And we will see if 450 holds on Nvidia. It might just lose this and start declining towards 448, 444, and then 442 as our supports. On Nvidia, on the bigger time frames, such as the 4-hour time frame, just like SPY, we're still overbought and we have a rejection candle potentially forming a reversal. And on the 4-hour, once this thing starts curling, that's going to give us a bearish trend change, because the 4-hour is very good for those trends. You could see it right here. The bigger momentum that's developing is starting to slow down, and we're beginning to form more and more bearish signals. On the daily time frame on Nvidia, you will notice that this thing is also looking like it's forming this reversal candle. And we might see it come down to start filling some of these gaps and start declining. Completely normal, nothing out of the ordinary whatsoever. This is exactly what we were expecting, a little pop and drop or a drop from where we were since Friday. Now for Tesla, it's looking a little weaker. I was telling everyone we had this gap on Tesla at this 220 area. If Tesla lost this gap, well, I first told you we would gap up and then decline to fill that gap, right? So then we came down to this area and Tesla ended up failing to hold 220. And now Tesla's starting to sink to this next support around this 216.8 area. If we lose this, I anticipate it's going to come down to this 215 area. It's still looking weak, so there could be more downside over there, but watch for nice support in this 214 to 215 area. If we fail at 214, I expect 212, then 210 to be coming. But for now, I think that some buyers will try to defend it very close to this like 214 to 215 area. They might just try to defend it. That does not mean it's going to bounce like crazy. Just we're going to see some more chop around this area. So just like this moment right here, just a couple of days ago. So we're entering a chop zone, but Tesla is looking weaker and there could be more downsides. So just be very careful with the current trend. So watch those levels very carefully. And then for resistance, don't forget to be watching 218, which is where this previous candle close was. Then we have these previous resistance levels in the 219s to 220 area. 219 to 220 is where you have some resistance, not to mention 218. And if you want to turn bullish, I mean, you want to see this thing try to get back above 222.5 for there to be a hope for the bulls. As of right now, we're kind of far from that. So Tesla's looking weaker, and the odds do favor the downside very soon. Last but not least, for Apple stock, I would say that Apple's also looking weaker. If you look at Apple, it pushed up very nicely. It was a very, very nice breakout. We were talking about 178 potentially breaking, then us hitting 180. But on the smaller time frames, it's starting to look a little weaker compared to what it was looking like earlier, because Apple is starting to decline a little bit, especially on the 30 minutes time frame. It looks like it might start to decline slowly and make its way down towards the lower 178 and potentially test the 20 EMA at 177.62. So it also happens to have a bearish divergence. I would say that Apple looks like it might cool off a little bit. We're going to be watching these supports very carefully. It's looking a little weaker right now, and we're going to be watching it very carefully. So watch that key resistance at 180 and watch support around 178. We could decline towards the lower 178s, in my opinion, which is going to contribute to the market slowing down. So we're going to be watching these supports and just know that it's very important to be careful. Looking at SPY, we just saw it test 434.5, but it's still trying to get back above its EMA. So it's looking weaker. I do still anticipate some downside. It's just not going to be like a straight flush to the downside. It's going to be a slow decline. But I believe downside is still imminent nonetheless. All right. Anyways, that's what I have for this video. Thank you all so much for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks again, and peace out.